Hey guys, what is up? It is SSD Middleman here with GuidesForUsAll, and today we're going to be checking out my top 5 favorite Warframes. This is a video that tons of people have requested, so finally I'm getting around to making it. I will be showing my mod setups in this video, but I will not talk about them because it's not really the point of the video. This is just me showcasing why these are my favorites. Also, do note, these are my personal picks and are not based on which Warframe is the best, which one's the most powerful, which one scales the best into endgame. These are just the 5 that I enjoy using the most, so let's get started. Nova was my favorite Warframe for a long time thanks to her ultimate ability, Molecular Prime. It's a very strong ability that controls the enemies in your mission and supports your team. It's also almost exclusively the reason that I love Nova. It slows enemies down, increases your damage dealt against them, and causes them to explode once you've killed them. It's especially useful when you're playing a high level mission and the enemies are too spongy to kill quickly enough. Pop this and it'll be like shooting Corpus in a barrel. It's also good if you have squad members who don't have good enough weapons or Warframes to actually kill the enemies in your mission. Since the enemies will be slowed down and since they're more susceptible to damage, this will allow people to be able to kill them easier. This is great when playing something like Draco, because oftentimes people will bring in an unranked weapon that can't deal much damage. Now, you can also mod Nova out to have negative power strength, which will cause Molecular Prime to increase the speed of the enemies instead of slowing them. This is super useful in defense missions where you want to kill all of the enemies as quickly as possible. This makes farming for things such as Ash Prime's Blueprint much easier. Now, this is not Nova's only good ability, but it is the reason that I enjoy using her so much. My number 4 pick is Rhino. Now, I know a lot of people will probably call me dumb for having Rhino on here, but hear me out. Rhino is probably the first Warframe you will craft after starting the game. His abilities make him a very solid choice for early to mid-level gameplay before you can acquire better Warframes. Iron Skin is his one ability that truly stands out. It gives you a large amount of ferrite armor, which will be damaged instead of your shields or health while the ability is up. If you keep this ability up, you're practically invincible, although it doesn't scale well into late game. Like I said earlier, he is mostly useful for early to mid-game missions. Now, another thing that Rhino excels at is boss killing. As you can see here, when I use his roar ability to multiply the damage of my weapon, I can kill the raptor before it even enters its second phase. You're supposed to have to go through this phase 3 times, but since roar allowed me to do so much damage in one shot, I didn't have to. Rhino might not be the most powerful Warframe, but he really does hold a lot of nostalgia for me, as he was my most used Warframe when I first started playing. My number 3 pick is Excalibur. When I first started playing Warframe, I actually strongly disliked Excalibur. I thought his abilities were really underwhelming and not very fun to use, especially his jump ability. Yeah, that was really an ability. In modern Warframe, Excalibur is an extremely fun and pretty powerful Warframe with a versatile ability set. His new ultimate Exalted Blade is so much fun to use and is pretty powerful when using a good melee weapon. Plus, with a little bit of power efficiency, you'll be able to use this ability without fear of running out of energy. His old ultimate Radial Javelin, which was switched over to his third ability, is still pretty powerful and can take out hordes of enemies with one fell swoop. Although it was recently nerfed so that it can't damage enemies through walls, I still think it's pretty good. And finally, his Radial Blind ability can stun tons of enemies and open them up to melee finishers. I feel like Excalibur is just pure fun to use. For all of these reasons, I love using Excalibur. Ember, waifu to many veteran Warframe players and arguably the most sought after prime Warframe in the game, is number 2 on my list. I think she's definitely the hottest Warframe. I mean, temperature wise. The real shining star of Ember for me is her ultimate ability, World on Fire. It gives her a constant AoE effect which will burn enemies to a crisp if they dare come near her. It's so much fun to activate this and just run around, hearing the enemies scream in agony as they have no chance to escape her righteous flames. Anyways, I really like her ultimate, especially when you have the Firequake Augment mod, which causes enemies to always be knocked down when damaged by the ability. Her other abilities aren't too shabby either. Her Fireball can deal a decent amount of damage, Accelerant will stun enemies and make your other abilities deal even more damage, plus Fire Blast is a pretty solid ability for defense missions. All of this added together makes Ember a strong solo Warframe, very useful for running through Exterminate missions, and my second favorite Warframe to play as. And last but not least, my favorite Warframe, at least for the time being, Frost. Frost is my favorite for many reasons, but the biggest reason is his defensive capabilities, which shine in almost all mission types. First and foremost, Frost has a pretty high base shield and armor rating, which increases his personal survivability. He also has one of the most powerful defensive abilities in the game, Snow Globe. This is essential if you're running a defense or mobile defense mission. It's also a nice life-saving ability, as you can cast it when you're low on health and it will fling your enemies away from you. His ultimate, Avalanche, is also very powerful. It will freeze all enemies around you instantly as you cast it, and will deal a large amount of damage to them when you're finished casting. They will stay frozen for a few seconds. Killing them while they're frozen will cause them to explode and hurt other enemies nearby, causing a chain effect similar to Molecular Prime. This ability is really useful in pretty much every mission type, as there will always be hordes of enemies attacking you, and it can save your life if used at the proper times. Frost is just a ton of fun to use in my opinion, and he works in any mission type. You just throw him on there and you go play whatever you want. You don't have to constantly switch warframes to accustom yourself to each mission type. Now I know what everyone's gonna say.
What the heck? Ash isn't even on this list, but he's the #1 Warframe.
I'm not denying that Ash is a very powerful Warframe, but he's pretty much press 4 to win, and that's it. It's kind of boring to use him in my opinion, and that's why he's not one of my favorites. Anyways, leave a comment down below letting me know what your guys' favorite Warframes are to use and why. Thank you very much for watching the video. If you enjoyed, please leave a like rating down below and subscribe to see some more videos in the future. If you'd like updates on videos and other strange posts, make sure to follow me on Twitter and Facebook at GuidesForUsAll. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.